What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today is November the 5th. I want to give you a quick pre-market update, go over some of the hot movers and what big money is doing today. Before we get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off with data points, we just got a big one, and that was ADP employment. Came in at 42,000, forecast was 20. So this does really kind of contradict a lot of that fear that's been surging associated to consumers. And oddly enough, it's been a very long time since we've had any big labor data points because of the whole shutdown. So this one was a pretty big one for today. Aside from that, ISM services, current forecast for that is 50.8. Anything above 50 shows more of a expansion. Anything below 50 shows more of a contraction. Last report as well was 50. So just watch for it to ideally be at like that 51 or above. And then the market will take that as a pretty strong positive. Aside from that though, fear and greed index, we are under the extreme fear category. So people's appetite for risk in theory isn't necessarily there. And I guess just one thing to bring up though, historically speaking, every time we've been under the extreme fear category, that usually does work out to be a optimum time to buy. So even though it feels like the world is ending right now, again, that might be a good indication that you need to buy the dip, but you do whatever floats your boat, of course. Currently the futures are somewhat mixed. So Dow is up. Now it is exactly flat. S&P, it is down 0.07. NASDAQ down 0.01. So market's kind of holding its breath a little bit. You didn't see ADP really move the market all too much. So we'll have to wait and see how that does kind of play out. But getting right to it, SoFi is up 0.58%. No news from them. They did put out news yesterday, but and plus there's a lot of things that they could potentially put out news about, but as far as right now, no. They like to put out news, as you can kind of see, at 8 a.m. Consistently, but it's largely just piggybacking off the broader market. 8.37% of the free floats being shorted. Shorts during the pre-market are returning a staggering 786 shares. So they're not really doing too much this morning, but 99.15 million shares overall are being shorted, with it right now at 29.52. It is smack dab in the middle between this pivot and this S1. So 28.69 is going to be that strong support. 30.25 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. So just kind of watch for those. Most likely it'll just be wedge bound probably within that range today, unless something crazy does happen. Moving on, NIO, it is up 1.82%, and there hasn't really been any operational updates to justify that, rather just a overreaction yesterday, because NIO did put out some pretty good operational updates, and plus they did have their weekly registration numbers. Or sorry, not theirs, but they did have some numbers. So I feel like this negative 3.5 yesterday was very unjustified. Plus, for those of you that kind of watch a lot of my videos, yesterday was just being artificially suppressed through algorithmic trading. One thing to take note of though today is that during the pre-market, we're seeing kind of low volume. So I don't know if that's an indication of maybe big money still sitting on the sidelines waiting. But clearly right now, investors do feel yesterday's pullback with NIO was unjustified. 10.4% of the free floats being shorted. So far, shorts are increasing about 34,000 shares during the pre-market. So they're being a little bit more active. But overall, 143.96 million shares overall being shorted. With it right now at 729. One key level to watch for is at 718. That's going to be a strong support. You really want to watch for it to consistently close above that if you're going to see any kind of sort of a recovery. Just once the market gets all this kind of blood out of their system, then essentially NIO can kind of move higher. But for today, just watch for that 718. Moving on, CMBM. So this stock is getting kind of a lot of volume. I believe it's the most heavily traded stock. No news, no SEC filings associated to them. It is kind of pulling back a little bit. This, I think, is it kind of contradicts this because, yeah, in theory, people just get into that stock and you would assume it'd be under the greed category. This stock has been absolutely crazy. So it went from about 62 cents to a high of 375, and actually it looks like a high of 680. went down higher. So this one's going to be a pretty good one for day trades. Right now, though, shorts are increasing about 8,000 shares. 24.08% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 3.06 million shares. I know a lot of people are saying that this is a squeeze play. I don't really see that being on the table, only because of the float. DTC, on a side note, is 0.22 days. So kind of doesn't really signal that shorts are all that crazy and kind of whatever else. Still, though, you never know. If the company puts out something like substantial and concrete, then you might see shorts kind of return some, but still not too much in my opinion. But nonetheless, this is still going to be a pretty good day trade stock. With it right now at 326. It is trading between this pivot and this S1. So 346 is going to be that key level to really watch for, followed by 316. So just kind of watch for both of those. SMCI is getting a lot of volume this morning, and it's because of their earnings. They put out earnings after hours yesterday. Why it's down about 8% is because of this. So feel free to kind of pause it and go through it. But this is some of the risks and concerns from their from their earnings. So I don't really see anything crazy. One thing as well to take note of from their earnings, I know a lot of people were very hesitant to really get in before because of, I guess, their history and allegations, but nothing really popped up from this earnings. So I think this is all largely just demand related, no fraudulent accounting practices or whatever else. Shorts are returning about 87,000 shares during the pre-market, so that's kind of a good sign to signal that, I guess, the red day so far today isn't really justified. 16.2% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 82.7 million shares overall being shorted. Shorts have really been returning quite a lot since April. Went from about 23% to where it is now. So shorts definitely do feel that they might be overextended. DTC being 2.77 days, that kind of does prove that as well. With that 43.85, it is trading between this S2 and this S3. 41.28 is going to be a strong support. 45.64 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. And in my opinion, I do feel that both have a opportunity to be touched today. So this S3, depending on how you might have a quick sell-off, no different than what we've encountered over the last several trading days. We just have a very quick sell-off and then we move higher. So this 41.28 might be a good opportunity to throw in a bid potentially. And then 45.64 potentially might be that target. I don't see this S1 being touched, but most likely it'll just be between this S2 and this S3. Then moving on, last but not least, ticker is BW. It is up 24. Now it's 18%, so it's kind of pulling back a little bit. But the reason why they are in the green is because of this. So it looks like they're expands into AI data center power market with 1.5 billion project with Applied Digital. So that's why they are moving higher. It's not heavily shorted, so 2.7% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 2.16 million shares. Shorts are returning about 10,000 shares, so they're not really doing too much. But again, that kind of does signal that the green day is somewhat justified. With it at 451, trading between this R3 and this R2, so 428 and then 479 is going to be the next round target / resistance points. If this 428 does kind of break, regrettably, then 396 will be a strong support. So I think all these stocks for the most part will be good day trades. So definitely do your own due diligence and all the other fun jazz. One thing I do want to share with you though, I do have a Patreon. I've brought that up time and time again, where I put out buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, daily day trades, numerous swing trades. But I am starting a new one with Stacked, and I am doing a promo just for today and tomorrow. So this is the official launch, and normally it costs a little bit more than $1. And so I'm putting the buy alerts at $1, so you can sign up. And so again, I put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades for that. So if you're kind of wanting to, and you've always been curious about signing up, definitely do that. And this is under Stacked. So I'm going to be also having some exclusive details and information on this as well. So definitely take the time, pop over here and take a look at this. This is the official launch, and this is through stacked.com. So with all that said, appreciate all of you guys watching, and with all that, let's make a lot of money today.